Okay, so the visa issue, being deported while you're in India or being refused a visa, being blacklisted, it's a case which happens to a lot of people. And if one of the YouTube celebrities, Carlo, who used to make a lot of videos he still make a lot of videos about India or with the culture which is similar to India, if it happened to him, he's not the only one who have been victim of this thing. I also got a friend who I was expecting to meet anytime soon and he couldn't reach India because he got blocked also. So if this is a case which happens every day, definitely there is a way we can stop it from happening most often. I'm talking now to foreigners who want to come to India. Or there is a way you can prevent it to happen to you by trying some of things which might be very simple and which can save you a whole lot of stress of seeing yourself being blocked from entering India. And maybe there is just not enough information out there, or we just don't speak about it because we think it's too easy to get into India. So because of that, we don't put so much effort of thinking of like, how can we avoid some of those bad situations which happened. First of all, getting the visa for India, it's not hard. You don't need to wound yourself in order to get one. They're super transparent and they will easily give it to you as long as you prove to be right and like on the right way. And they will give you plenty chances. They're so tolerant, like from what I've seen. Again, the visa is cheap, and also getting to India is somehow cheap and it's easy to navigate around India. So if it's a cool place, if the embassy or the ministry, I don't know what's the branch which takes care of visa and letting people inside India, if they're too kind and too easy, according to what I'm saying, why does it happen that they block some of the people? Actually, the thing which we should understand is that there are millions of people suffering from this issue. If it happened only to Karl Rock just because he's famous, it shouldn't be the center of attention just because it happened to him and speak about it now. It have been happening to so many other actually before and after him. So many others have been still struggling from that issue. As I told you, one of my friends also got it very recently. Let's speak of some of the causes which definitely will put you in danger that you can miss your visa or being blocked from getting back to India. First is going against the things which you are allowed to do with your visa. If you have, for example, student visa or a tourist visa, there's some of the things which they allow you to do, and if you do contrary to what you've been given, definitely you have to suffer for the consequence of that. But again, somewhere I feel like the Indian government is a little bit kind with people. They're not really harsh that if you do it wrongly, like at once they will directly deport you. No, I feel like sometimes they warn first, and like, yeah, I've seen a lot of cases of people who did something wrong and they had actually to be warned first before they could be deported or any other thing could happen. The other problem which can cause that to happen is communication. Literally, I think one of the things which happen is that when someone finds himself or herself, when someone finds themselves being in trouble, what usually happens is that most of the people try to keep quiet and think like, oh, if I share it with the authorities, they might deport me at the exact same time. But from what I've seen again from other people is that when they had a problem, instead of hiding it, they went actually to the authorities, showed the issue which happened, and like that they were maybe kind of the problem would be light, like it wouldn't be that much hard. When you come to accuse yourself and claim, oh, I happened to find myself in this thing and it was wrong and I was expecting to get this solution, there is actually much chance that it may actually turn out good. The other thing which push people to speak too much about this visa issue or other stuff, I think it's not understanding or realizing that the Indian government puts Indian citizen or India in general as its priority. So just imagine the government being as a father who is just trying to protect intruders from his family. And I think if we get it in that aspect, we can't speculate so much or speak so much of, oh, my visa have been denied, I've been denied from entering India. If you seem to be suspicious in any country, not only in India, you might have issues in getting in. Work on reduce all the risk which could make you suspicious, because you might be innocent but maybe you indulge yourself in something which made you to be suspicious, and that can cause a problem. So being transparent, I think, is actually a good way of avoiding this thing and realizing that they're just trying to protect people. They're just trying to protect their country. It's not their fault if they block me from entering inside. And another thing which is also a cause, even your country is blocking Indians also to get in. So I think it's kind of equal play. Okay, like just to be serious about this, I wanted to mean that we shouldn't take it too serious and think that India is against one person or one nation. No, even our countries, even my country, do block people to get in. I literally saw an Indian who had issues in getting into Congo recently. I think it's not the problem. I think the problem is not because Congo was targeting Indians trying to block them. No, it's just because the person maybe didn't meet the criteria, was suspicious on something, and there are a lot of reasons which may cause the border to be suspicious or skeptical about getting one person in. And it's not something which we should take too serious to fight against a government, but we should think of like how we can solve it as an individual, to work on your reputation or your history and a whole lot of things which will keep yourself clean, that you can easily get access to any country which you want to visit. So how can we avoid this whole issue of being denied a visa or being denied to get into India or being blacklisted from India? I think the very first thing is that it's really hard once you're already into India, and especially if you're going to stay for long, it's really hard to protect yourself from doing so many activities, which may lead to do activities which are not mentioned in your visa and which can lead you to be suspicious about your stay in India and maybe cause you problems in the future. And because of that, the better thing to do is always make sure you remember to stay in your line while you're in India. Always remember that. I think that's one of the first things which could actually save a whole lot of people. And in case you find yourself going out of your line, I think the best thing to do would be to be transparent. And what I mean by being transparent is trying to find other people who could help you to bear the charge. If you're trying to get into business, get someone who has a business visa to bear the charge of that instead of you doing it on your own, because it might cost you more in the future. You have to take care of being so suspicious in front of the government for now, because in the future it may cost you too much. By trying to gain now, you might destroy something which you could have been gaining more again in the future. Read everything which the government gives you. And I think this is one of the things which recently it helped me. I had an issue with a visa which I applied for coming to India, and the visa didn't come out the proper way I wanted. And when I realized how the visa came wrong and I was kind of complaining, that's when I realized that there was one of the documents which they gave me which already spoke about that line, but because it was a long document, I was just going, I didn't even have time to read everything. I came to skip that part when it actually had an important message. And then the other thing is that, as I said earlier, communicate. It happened recently, as I just said, that I got an issue with my visa which I applied for, and the simplest thing which I had to do was just to communicate back to the embassy. By talking to the embassy, explaining them everything, they actually answered me. They actually realized what I was trying to do and all those things. And I think as long as you're on the right way, as long as they didn't do anything wrong, I think they can easily give you so many things to explain to you, or even help you in case it come to happen that you are innocent but you are being charged of something which you shouldn't be. And lastly, I said this again, don't try to make yourself smart by falsely using a visa or overstaying or doing anything by thinking that I will just pay charges and I'll be done. It might cost you more than just paying charges, because once you have that history on you of overstaying, of doing something illegal in a country when you don't have a visa, once you have that story, once your visa, your name, your passports have been labeled to have a wrong story, it might not affect you only your stay in India, but even in another country. I don't know how immigration stuff works, but I think it can affect even in another country. And especially, who knows, maybe you might need to come back to India another day, and then how will you come after doing all those wrong things? So I think in order to avoid all those things, think so much on how to keep your story clean. And when you think so much on how to keep your story clean, you work so much on keeping yourself, even if some of the things are going to cost you more by getting a different visa, better do that rather than keeping yourself in a situation where you might lose even the access to India in front. So don't be over smart, don't try to save money by doing some stupid stuff. Just be transparent, use your money to get all the legal stuff. It will help in the long run, and it actually will save you a lot of time and will save you from a lot of stress. And the case of Kalok is nothing special, because there are a lot of people who are literally suffering from all those things. I remember how my friend was about to get into India and he couldn't. When he had all these things, his clothes and other stuff, he just left in India and went and came back. He couldn't access again. It's so painful for certain things to happen, and it's happening not only to those people, to so many other people. And try to think oh, they're doing wrong to Kalok. No, they're not doing wrong to Kalok. It's just the government is trying to be protective over the Indian citizen and India as the country. But again, on the other side, I genuinely feel it as a very strong and hard thing to live, especially for someone like me or even Kalok or any other person who you already have that so much deep connection with India India and you feel it to be like your home. And just imagine being refused the access to get in, and then I don't have the nationality, so you have the rights of blocking me, but I love India. What can I do? Like, I can't just ignore the fact that I wanted to be in India. So I think it's so painful, but I think we have to understand from the mistakes or the things which happened in the past to protect ourselves from sad things to happening also in the future. So thank you so much for watching this video. For any other person, especially from Africans who want to come to India, you have nothing to worry about coming to India, but think so much on protect your history from being blocked to get into India. Thank you so much for being here. Catch you next time.